Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at another hidden tool in Blender. This has been there for years, and I only find out recently. There is a tool called Laplacian Lightning, and this is also used to be an add-on, I believe. And if you actually activate it from here, it's gonna show up under Create. So create objects. So there you remember Cubester, this one, Laplacian Lightning. Okay, what can it do? Let's really quickly use the create setup objects. So it's gonna create for you the ground, the origin. There's also cloud objects and insulator, but they are kind of hard to understand. You just need to try it yourself. So generate lightning, it generates this lightning and also all the branching parts. And if you run it a couple of times, it's never gonna create the same thing. I believe this will affect the position, the starting position, but the ending part we cannot guess. So it's there's a lot of factor that's affecting the lightning. So it's really cool. It creates this kind of like, this is actually a curve object. No, this is a mesh object, and by default it creates multi-mesh. You want to turn it off, maybe try single mesh, and yeah, try running it a few times, and it's gonna generate a lightning object for you. So this one is a single object, and you can always convert it into a curve, and then as a curve you can create a depth like that, and you can render it out. So you probably need the right shader for it, and also with this thing you might like to use the build modifier maybe to have some kind of animations. But not in that way. Actually, I prefer it to look a little bit more like this. You see, that's more like a proper lightning, but that's a lot of things you need to consider when doing lightning. And then once it does that, normally the lightning should keep going and travel and disappear. So anyhow, this is Laplacian Lightning, and I kind of want to have more control on the lightning, like the beginning and the end of the lightning, kind of like a Laplacian witch. You kind of can control, you can kind of predict where the lightning is gonna hit. So maybe that's something you need to create using sphere chalk. But anyhow, for now, I'm gonna delete everything. Let's play around with this idea that we can control the origin and the end of the lightning. Let's try that first. I believe the ground will control just the Z position of the lightning, but we cannot really control the ending. See, if I bring this up, it's gonna generate the lightning upward. It's pretty strange. Let me try if I increase this value. So it's still just controlling the Z. Well, at least we can control the beginning. So that's kind of cool in itself. So based on that idea, let's try save this first. Save as SV Lightning 001. Oh. And let's turn off this selectable, delete everything. So we still have the end and the origin, and I want to kind of randomize the position of the origin. So let's do that using nodes. Switch to node editor, SpreadChalk add-on. I can do this using animation nodes, but animation nodes also has problem with my Blender version, the Python version, so it doesn't work in this case. That's okay. Let's use SpreadChalk object ID set. So I want to grab this object. So object ID select. Our object is an empty. So let's pick an empty and then filter. Get the object. Get the name. The name is origin. And check it out using stethoscope. So originally we have 2 empty objects selected. Now we have only 1. And put that there. And then try random vector value. So yeah, you can randomize this way. So that's one way you can play around with it. You can also perhaps use like a actually random vector, but a kind of rewire it and make the z like zero out the z. I believe that's how you do it. Oh well, I think I did it wrong. But anyhow, we can randomize the position this way, and this is going to be the z. So if we run this a couple of times while running a script node, it should in theory work. So generate lightning. Generate lightning is actually a command, right? Whenever we hit that button, it's a command that's going to be run. And so for each generations, we're gonna have a different starting origin. So I think it should be location, not delta locations. Okay. So let's try this again. Generate lightning. Okay. So we have random position of the origin and it should work. Maybe the delta needs to be 0 out. Okay, and yeah, I think everything's correct. Okay, there you go. It's almost like when the lightning is upside down, it's almost like a plant. See, that's what I mean. And I kind of like that kind of shape. It's almost like a tree. In another setup, I actually let's say we have a couple of this lightning, and you want it to appear like for every frame it's gonna only show one lightning. So you can also do that using a bit of logic. Let's see if I have it. So this is another example. So this one, I have only like 4 lightning, but you can see for every frame it's gonna randomly select the lightning and then it's gonna make one visible. So I'm using SpreadChalk add-on also to control that visibility. So it's just a logic, true and false. This is just super basic, but see, you have 6 objects and then you filter out just the lightning, and then you use this logic, just generate random value, compare it with a range of value between 0 and 3, and if it's equal the random number, then generate a logic true and false. That's gonna control the visibility of the lightning. So there's like a two setup there. So yeah, I quite like this lightning. I wish it's something that can be just simply a node, and another, ideally also I want to be able to have the source and then the end part, so we can control the directions of the lightning. But that should be, you can kind of trick it, because this guy is almost like have directions. Maybe you can just rotate it to follow the vector. So that's one way to hack it. Anyhow, I think this Laplacian Lightning is really cool. It should be improved and become a node at some point. All right, hopefully you find this useful. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye.